If you're a current, past or possible future owner of a Lotus Evora, you're going to want to watch this video. Stick around, we're going to look at the interior and the option packs in a bit more detail. Okay, so welcome back to Damo's Cars. Welcome back to the channel, and we're going to jump into the interior of the Lotus Evora. This is our second Lotus Evora. If you're new to the channel, go back and check the other videos from the previous Lotus Evora. We've obviously liked them. This has been the second one. We thought I'd do a video today looking at the different option packs that came with them. So if you're a current owner, this might be useful. You can compare it against the one you've got. My last one had slightly less option packs, so I'll be talking about that a little bit. But if you're a potential buyer of a Lotus Evora, and why wouldn't you want one, given that the Emira has now been launched and there's a lot of popularity, and is it the Electra? Have I said that right? The new Lotus? There's a lot of popularity around the Lotus brand now, so these have got to become more popular. They're a great car. So let's get inside it and get into it in a bit more detail. Classic transit van key to get in your Lotus Evora. One click does the driver's door, double click does the passenger door, and in we go. This is a 2011 model. It's been upgraded, so it's got different leather seats with the nice red piping. They're seats from a sports racer, which is nice, and the steering wheel has also been retrimmed and the gear knobs replaced. They're not completely original, but nice little upgrades nonetheless. We'll start down here first before we get in. One of the packs you can buy is the premium pack, and the key differentiator between the premium pack and not having the premium pack is the leather trim below this area here. On my previous Lotus Evora that I had, all of this was fabric. I think as well you get leather along the sill here. It needs a bit of a clean, sorry for that, but yeah, I think you get a bit more leather there. My last one again didn't have that. The brochure also talks about leather in the center console. Now, I never had this. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I need to check back my pictures. This leather clad armrest in my previous one, so that's quite nice. Also, you can't quite see it very well, but over underneath the glove box, that is also there, very leathery, whereas in my last one that was all fabric. This is an Evora S, and with the Evora S you got the sport pack as standard. It was an optional extra, I believe, on the normally aspirated versions, and with it you got a sport mode button down here, and there it is, nice and out of the way when you're driving. When you click that, it lights up on the dash. Sport mode. It gives you a sharper throttle response, so that is quite noticeable actually. Again, this is the second Evora I've had, and you can sort of feel when you put it in sport, it suddenly feels like you've got a lot more poke under your right foot. That's a good way of describing it. It also increases the rev limiter, so you can rev it a bit more. The Lotus is very clever in terms of it won't let you rev it too hard until it's nicely warmed up anyway. I think a lot of cars, modern cars, do that now anyway, performance cars anyway, which is quite handy. And you get a sports diffuser. Again, all Evora S's have this diffuser at the rear, and you get a, well, you get, this is where I get confused. It says you get a titanium sports exhaust pipe. I'm not sure you do. I'm not sure the exhaust pipe on the back of this is titanium. You get cross-drilled brake discs, so a little bit more sporty, and you get red painted brake calipers with black as a no-cost option. Now, unfortunately, whoever purchased this car originally went for the black no-cost option. I'd quite like red brake calipers. The third and final pack, the tech pack. Now, tech is, as it says on the tin, really, it's all the tech. You get a 7-inch doubled-in touchscreen head unit, let's call it that. You get upgraded speakers with a stereo system and a 2x50 watt amplifier and subwoofer with a dedicated amplifier. The head unit in this car has been replaced, and I'm not entirely sure whether the head unit... No, scratch that, rewind it. I'm not entirely sure whether the subwoofer is working or not, but anyway. I'm pretty sure the head unit has been replaced. Previous owner, Jez, if you're watching, did you know whether the original... I think this is non-original, because there wasn't CarPlay back when this car was new. It's got to have been replaced. You got a USB connection. The non-stereo related things that you got were a tyre pressure monitoring system, which works quite well. Never had a problem with it, although have heard people have problems with TPMS systems and batteries in their sensors running out and things like that. You got cruise control. The buttons are on the steering wheel. And you got rear parking sensors. There's a rear camera anyway, which you probably mostly use to check the distance. But you've also got parking sensors. Okay, so that is the option packs explained. Let's have a look at some of the other features in this car. Oh, you get folding mirrors on one of the packs as well. Sorry, checking. But there's some hold music. What pack has... Oh, maybe you don't. Sorry. I thought you got folding mirrors on. Anyway, scratch that. If you know different, tell me. Let's have a look at the other features. You get lovely door handles from a Honda Accord. What's not to like? I quite like... I love the... people... I don't know. There's a bit of controversy around Lotus using parts from other cars, but I quite like it. I find it quite endearing. It persists the brands of other cars. There won't be many... It's not a Honda Accord. It's Honda Civic. There won't be many Honda Civics left. It's like what happened with all of the British Leyland parts I think they use in the 70s cars. None of those cars are really around, but those Lotuses stick around. And then you've got Ford. See that? Mirror adjuster. And I think, not sure whether they're Ford or not. Write in the comments, tell me what the switches are for the windows. I probably did know at some point, but I've forgotten. We mentioned the Ford Transit key when we got in. Ford switchgear for the indicators, stalks and wiper stalks too, which again don't have a problem with. They've lasted really well. They're not going anywhere. Look at them. I mean, you know, the like print on them is all really good. It's fine. The original Lotus, which is obviously a Series 1, was developed really quickly. I want to say within 12 to 24 months. I think it was 12 months from like concept to putting it out. So as a result, I think that you can excuse it for being a little bit, I'm not going to say thrown together, because I quite like what they've done here with the brushed aluminium buttons. But yeah, obviously they did it promptly. But down here on the right, you've got a series of buttons for your side lights, your headlights, your petrol flap, traction control on and off, fog light and sport mode button. You can't see them when you're driving from behind the steering wheel. It looks a bit like that. It looks a bit like that. You can't see them. You can't see them on the other side, so you do have to kind of glance around and have a look. Not the end of the world. And then similarly, you've got buttons on this side. I think, again, depending on what options you have, didn't see this in the literature, but I don't ever remember my car having the boot release button here. Anyway, so there's a boot release button. There's a heated seat button. There is a glove box button, and there's a central locking button. And I'm guessing... what does this button do? Oh, dash brightness button. There's a dash brightness button. Did I know that, or had I chosen to forget? Oh, there you go. Dash brightness button. Sorry, I probably can't see that, but the dash is lighting up. You obviously get your doubled-in head unit, which you can obviously replace, and a hazard switch there. You get ventilation things up there and here in the door. Now this is a key sort of thing, again, I quite like about the Series 1 Evoras, and you either like it or you don't, but you get this wraparound effect. This disappears on Series 2 Evoras. You don't get these vents, pretty sure, in the door. They are up here. Got a little tweeter speaker there too. Yeah, it's nice. I'm not going to say it's a nice place to be because that would be cliche. Down in the center console, again, more... let's have a look. More silver buttons. This has got the upgraded, very nice, if you can see that, silver Lotus gear knob. I like that. The other one is just this horrible acorn black leather thing, and they just wear out and look really tatty quite quickly. So the later Evoras had the nice silver, the later Series 2 400s, etc. had the silver. Right, so you've got fan switch here. You can adjust where you want the fans to blow in the cabin. You've got heated rear screen, heated front screen, that throws everything at it. You've got dial for temperature and recirculating air button there. If you turn the fan on and you have it on cold, it doesn't really do much in terms of fresh air. I guess most cars are like this, aren't they? You do have to have aircon on, basically, is the point I'm trying to make. The passenger airbag is there in the dash. A common complaint that people have is there are some clips that hold it down. They can kind of break, I think, and it doesn't quite hold it down very well, so it sort of pops out. Bit of a pain to fix, actually. No problem on this one. Up in the roof, you've got garage door openers, I believe. No idea how these work or how you would program them. Maybe one day I should look into it. And you've also got a little microphone there for your Bluetooth when you're conversing on the phone. Wing mirror has got to be from some other Vauxhall. It's starting to delaminate around the edges, which is a bit poor. Moving on to the interior light. The headlining in Lotus Evora is quite nice. It's like a smooth, fluffy grey fabric. This light, I replaced it in my last one because it went a bit loose. This one's fine, but these are a Vauxhall part, I believe. I think a Vauxhall Corsa. If you buy like the Lotus equivalent, it costs a fortune. They're exactly the same. Vauxhall part, a lot cheaper. I do like the additional sports racer seats in here and the embroidered Lotus logo on the back there. I like the base of them too, because you've got this leather bit, and I don't know what this bit is, but it's a little bit more grippy, so they're just more supportive. The normal default sort of leather seats don't have this sort of grippy, I don't want to say, it's a bit like Alcantara, it's a bit like perforated leather, but it's a bit more grippy than the smooth stuff, so you get that in the sort of back too, so it just holds you in place that little bit better, which is very nice. And down there, a traditional knob and pulley handbrake. There are the cruise control buttons on the steering wheel. You turn it on here and you kind of pin it in with that. I'm not entirely sure of the routine. I have played with it a bit, and then you can obviously go kind of faster and slower with that. Having owning another car that has the distance controlled cruise control, which works really well. In fact, I don't really use cruise control in that unless I'm on a super long journey. I don't really use cruise control. I said this years ago in one of my other videos. I much prefer if they were radio controls for this. That steering wheel radio controls for on the steering wheel for the radio, even though the radio is not miles away, but I'd use that probably more than cruise, but there you go. Sticking with the interior then, you get back seats with no leg room. Don't use them. Kids are too big for them now. Good for storage. Good for very small kids. There is ISO fix in there as well. There is an access panel for the engine. Ask me how I know. See my other videos for how to get into that. I think I'd had a go at changing a catalytic converter via that, and which was not fun. But yeah, the rear seats, yeah, none of the kids, they're all too old now, my kids, to go in there. But in my previous one, we had kids in there and we did use it, which was cool. Thanks for watching this Deimos Cars video where we went through the Evora in a bit more detail. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, if you haven't done, subscribe to the channel, write in the comments, tell us what you think, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.